final Wellness Committee meeting of the 23-24 school year. Thank you all so much for joining us. We wanted to get started by reviewing the notes from the last meeting. They were sent out with the agenda, but they're also linked there in the agenda. If you guys could take a minute to review them. Durga, maybe you could put them in the chat for everyone and see if we need to have any corrections made to the minutes from the February 7th meeting. Any corrections or anything that looks like it might be missing? I know it's been a minute since we met in February, but everything look okay?
Yeah, I think it looks okay.
Great. Okay, Amy, we'll jump right to you. We have the first topic, tobacco-free district recertification.
Sure. Great. Thanks, Nicole. Good afternoon, everybody. Nicole's right. It has been a while since we met. I want to share just two quick things with you. I'm going to try to share my screen so you can see these signs. Just give me a second. Okay, I think you can see this. Where's my present? Okay, so the first agenda item is that we have recently been up for a tobacco-free school district recertification. And the tobacco-free certification is a requirement for us to receive some funding designed to engage in sort of preventative efforts around tobacco use, drug use, as well as things like PBIS and different types of restorative practices to support students proactively in the schools. And this year we were up for a recertification. So we have completed that process. And the requirements of that process was that we have to make sure that we have a tobacco-free policy, which we have had in place for a long time, our board policy that reflects that we have tobacco-free campuses and facilities. We need to, communicate that policy on a regular basis, and we have to post signage on our campuses. So we do have some signage on our campuses. If you're near the entrance gates to most of the sort of blacktop or playgrounds, you kind of see this big, massive sign that gives a list of things that are prohibited, like, gosh, I think it might say like skateboards and things like that. And it also talks about tobacco-free. So we do already meet this requirement, but we wanted to give our school sites some signs that were specifically just about being tobacco-free, and to highlight that that includes vapes and vaping. And so the signs on the slide there, the yellow one, it was given to the elementary school sites, and the white and red signs were distributed to the middle school sites. So if you go to your child's campus, you might see these new signs, and it's all part of our certification to be a tobacco-free school district. Anybody have any questions, concerns about that? No, I'll keep talking then. Okay, Nicole? All right. So the next one is that, as the Wellness Committee, we sort of represent the fullness of what it means, what wellness means. And this month, May, is Mental Health Awareness Month. And so we wanted to take a moment just to highlight our resources that we have through our CUSD mental health program. And in this committee, we also have one of our leaders of this, Kimberly Carvalison, is our program manager for mental health and behavioral health. And she helps lead this incredible group of counselors and therapists who provide services to our students on our campuses. But we also have a lot of resources for parents. So in honor of Mental Health Month, just kind of, I'm going to go to our website here and just kind of highlight it. So this is our mental health resources website that's available to parents and to our community. And there's a lot of just a wealth of resources here for our families to access and our students and our teachers, including a program that we participate in called Care Solace, which is available for use by our students, staff, and families at no cost for them to connect to providers in the community. This is a service that we pay for every year for our families, and schools will often help families get connected, but it is all of the information is here for anyone to utilize on their own as well. And there's a bunch of other resources here too, but just to highlight that mental health is important to us and we have a lot of resources. And oftentimes these aren't things that folks look for until they really need them. But as you sort of are on your various committees and your things at your school site, if things come up, just to redirect. I don't know, Kimberly, if you want to highlight anything about the program.
Sure. Just one of the pieces, Care Solace is also can be accessible for our staff if they need to have that concierge service to connect them with a mental health provider, whether it is within their insurance and or out of pocket. The Care Solace will actually take you through to the point of actually going through that red tape, and they will take care of all that for you to the point of making your first appointment. And so that's a really, really great resource, because when you're in a crisis or it's a really struggling time, the last thing you want to do is like make a whole bunch of phone calls and try to figure out how to like do things, right? And like it's already going to take a lot of effort. So this can take away a lot of that stress and space. So it's available for our families, our students, and also for our staff to access. The other thing I wanted to highlight, if you don't mind clicking on the family workshops tab there. So we have organized resources by topic. And then if you scroll down, there's the Parent Venture Parent Education Video Library. So another great resource that our district has partnered with is Parent Venture. They provide parent education series, and they have just an extensive library, and they have recorded all of their trainings from experts in the field, people that are like pushing out their books about these topics, and being interviewed and really, getting how really distilling the information into manageable 1 hour webinar for parents. So it's a really, really great resource. This is their YouTube channel. So they record everything and upload it onto their YouTube channel. So you can just search by topic about what you want to kind of see. So I just wanted to kind of highlight Care Solace, underscore some of the things that Amy has mentioned, and then also this really great resource that we're connected to with Parent Venture series, because this is something that you can easily pass on to other parents or other people who just want to learn more about wellness and maybe by some specific topics.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Of course.
Regarding the Care Solace, do you have any data on how many families who attempted to use it have been able to successfully secure repeat visits with a provider when they wanted them? Because what we were finding over the last year or so is that a lot of the local providers are not wanting to work outside of business hours. And so there really wasn't a lot of specialized help out there, like say for ADHD kids, um, outside of like 9 a.m. or 8 a.m. to 1 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm wondering, it's great that the service is there, but if
Mhm.
you're paying for it, I'm wondering how it's really coming together for you.
So there are some constraints, right? If you want to go through your own insurance, then you're going to have some difficulties with whatever their constraints are for timing and wait lists. And that's probably the thing that I've heard the most, because Care Solace is actually just a concierge. And so by if you're saying this person or this agency or this through my insurance, I'd like to go a different route, then they can start looking for some other providers. And we are, you know, in an area where there the need of mental health support is outweighing is rising faster than the providers that we can have access to, right? And so, you know, you see like many agencies and healthcare plans are trying to build their mental health you know, departments and internally as well. And so there are some other ones, but I would say the easiest and fastest way to get the support is being willing to do some teletherapy and maybe expanding beyond whatever's within your network. But that's one of the things that I've seen, and I've seen like certain insurance be having the most sticking points there too. And that's kind of some of the feedback that I've gotten too.
But just to clarify, we were paying out of pocket, so insurance was not a factor. My husband is a teacher, so time of day was a
This
factor.
time of day.
Yeah.
Willing to do the online and couldn't
Yeah.
find scheduling outside of normal business hours for the teacher to have to attend on a regular basis
Yeah.
with a provider that focused on ADHD.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And you know, I think that that's something that you can actually give Care Solace feedback, because that's helpful for me to know, but directly giving it to Care Solace and saying, we're looking for more providers that have you know, outside of school hours, right?
So
Because
that's what I was asking you. That's why my question was, do
Yeah.
you have data that shows the success rate?
well, getting an appointment, but getting a preferred appointment or time is going to be two different pieces. But I think we could look at some of the data of the number of successful appointments that were made. I think there is some report that we could try to find.
We have some data, but it's limited to a point due to confidentiality, right? So, but there is some data that they can provide us on use.
Mhm.
Yeah, because we could get initial appointments with a provider, we just couldn't get repeat appointments.
Got it. So like the ongoing care, the ongoing providing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, so like if you're having an incident and you need to meet for, you know, a couple of months, you couldn't get a regular appointment that wasn't during my husband's work hours,
Mm-hmm.
then on Zoom.
Agreed. And I have to say also, you know, we want kids, like especially we want kids in school during that time. That's those are school hours, right? And so you know, that is always something that we're advocating for too, is making sure that that can work with a family's schedule. So
Yeah,
appreciate
that's good
you bringing that
feedback.
up.
It's helpful, you know, as we kind of close the year, most of these agreements that we have with organizations like that, we have sort of end of year wrap up kind of review opportunities and meetings. So that's good feedback for us to take to them, that, you know, that more providers that have more flexible hours our families would benefit more from that. Thank you. Jamie, your hand up?
Yes, I'll say that actually our family did utilize Care Solace with a situation with my son, and they were quite good at follow-up. They were exceptional with, you know, trying to find the right provider. I do agree that there was lacking of hours. However, if you were willing to, you know, do a teledoc, they had quite a few. But what they were very good at is getting us in quickly, finding something. Yes, it was telehealth, but it was something that could get us in quickly until we could find somebody else, and then the transition over to our own private insurance. So they were very good with that. It was very, very helpful. And I hate to say it, but this is in the court system right now, and it was extremely helpful for the court to see that there was intervention by the school.
I appreciate your feedback and sharing your experience.
Phyllis.
I just want to thank whoever's responsible for the amount of resources that were offered to the Stevens Creek community in the wake of the recent accident that happened there. I was very impressed with the resources that were offered to both families and students. So thank you to whoever sets that up. And I think it's wonderful that we have those grief counseling services available. So thank you.
Thanks, Phyllis.
Thank you.
Okay. There aren't any other questions or comments? Then Nicole, I'll stop sharing my screen here.
Thanks, Amy.
Figure out how to stop. Oh, I really can't. Probably have to exit full screen.
All right. So next on the agenda, we have the review of our current wellness policy. So our wellness committee covers a lot of different topics, but it's also kind of the owner of our required policy, Board Policy 5030, Student Wellness. So we had sent our current policy out when we sent out the agenda. I just wanted to kind of go through it real quickly. We will be doing a little bit more extensive work on the policy itself and making sure that we are in compliance with the newest version, and also reviewing to make sure there's not anything that we want to expand on when we meet next school year. So for today, just wanted to review it, see if anyone had any questions. I'll share my screen so that you can see the version, but it was sent in the email if you'd like to look at it that way. Okay. See if I can make this bigger. So our policy was updated in May of 2017, which has been a little while. I did briefly look through the comparative policy to make sure that we were in compliance, and it does look like there were missing a few things that need to be added in here, but I just wanted to kind of go through and see the areas that the policy covers. So it kind of gives an introduction of what the policy is about, and then us as a council and who should be represented. So, we want parents and guardians, students, food service employees, teachers, school health professionals. So we work really hard to try to build out our committee to represent all of those groups of folks, and I think we have a good representation. And then the next section here is goals for nutrition, physical activity, and other wellness activities. So it says the board shall adopt goals for nutrition promotion, education, physical activity, and other school-based activities that promote student wellness. So we do have other board policies around physical activity and nutrition promotion and education. So when we go through a more extensive review, we'll look at those policies also. Nutrition education, physical education programs consistent with the expectations established by the state's curriculum and framework. The students will be provided activity or opportunity to be physically active each day, and the district does provide those PE and recess. So we will also be looking to see if there's any policies around those subjects. And then Professional development requirements for folks that are in charge of providing these things for students. And then we have down here, nutrition guidelines for foods available at school. So this really dictates what can and can't be done on a campus during the school day. Food and beverages available on campus each day. The district shall adopt nutrition guidelines, which are consistent with these federal regulations. And then we will be required to participate in the federal school nutrition programs, which we do, the National School Lunch, School Breakfast Program. We don't qualify for after-school snack programs, so we don't participate in that. And summer meals, we do for students that are attending summer school. We provide summer meals for them. And then food and beverages sold outside of the district's food service program. So that would mean anything outside of the breakfast, lunch, or anything operated by nutrition services. There's some guidance from midnight to 30 minutes after the end of the school day. This includes, but not limited to, student stores, student organization, fundraising, mobile food vendors, online food delivery vendors, and vending machines. So it's restricting any of those things from happening during the school day. And then the definition of sold is the exchange of food and beverages for money, coupons, vouchers, or order forms. So this is actually state law, which is stricter than some of the other states in the United States around what can be sold during the school day. And then encouraging school organizations to use healthy food items or non-food items for fundraising purposes. Using non-nutritious foods, avoiding non-nutritious foods as food rewards for students, or using things that don't have, food pencils or different things that might be incentive to students. And this section covers class parties and celebrations. That the school staff shall encourage parents or guardians or other volunteers to support the district's nutrition education program by considering nutritional quality when selecting the snacks that they may donate for occasional class parties. And we recommend that they be held after the lunch period when possible, and whenever possible to provide prepackaged food items with a nutrition label and allergy identification to ensure the health and safety of students. And then we do prohibit the marketing and advertising of non-nutritious food and beverages that don't meet nutrition standards to students. That's not allowed. And then program implementation and evaluation. So, we do share this information with principals during the school year, usually at the beginning of the school year, that we do have a wellness policy. It does guide some of the things that happens on campus, and that they're expected to follow that and make sure that the parent groups or other organizations that operate on their campus know what the rules are. And then it talks about doing an assessment of the policy to make sure that we continue to be in compliance. In addition to this, we have to present the updated policy and the work of the Wellness Committee every 2 years. So since this is a 2-year committee, this is the end of year 1. So at the end of next year, we will do a board update to the school board to let them know all of the work that we've done over the last 2 years and if we are recommending any changes to the policy. And then there's some notification requirements and records. Any questions or sections you want to go back to and review? Don't see any hands up. So like I said, I'll be bringing this back with more references to additional board policies that we have to ensure that our policy is in compliance. I know for sure right now I could see that we're missing the USDA anti-discrimination statement is supposed to be on here. So I'll check it to make sure that we're in compliance with any other changes that have been made. So we will be taking a revision to the board next school year, and probably ahead of our update because we would want to get our policy updated as soon as possible. So our first meeting will probably be a more extensive look into the policy and what changes need to be. Any other questions about the wellness policy or the board policy? Okay. I'm just going to skip down to the community. We did have a message from the community, right, Amy?
Yeah, we did. We had a message from Jennifer, who is a representative on Fremont Union High School District's Wellness Committee. And she just wanted to share an update. They've finished meeting for the school year, but they met last month. Sounds like their last meeting was in April, and they reviewed the nutrition services program. And she indicates that the high school district has switched to using containers that can be put in compost when possible. So not entirely, but they've are making an effort in that direction. And they're also using locally sourced ingredients and are making most of the food from scratch on site. That was kind of her update from the high school district's meeting.
Great, thank you. So we will be picking our 4 dates to schedule our meetings for next year, but I wanted to open it up to the committee to see if there was any topics that you would be interested in kind of diving into for the next school year. Like I said, the board policy will be one thing that we kind of will talk about through a couple of meetings to make sure we're in compliance, but what other things are out there that we might want to get more information or present on or have the committee focus on? So if you would like to comment, just raise your hand. Nothing coming up right now. Okay. Well, we'll give you the summer to think about it. Jamie said any updates on the school menu. So yeah, I mean, I could definitely come back in the fall with what our plans are. So we did a little bit of an update at the beginning of this year of the work that we've done on the middle school, and that's really grown this whole school year. And so our next year focus is trying to get some equipment into the central kitchen and then seeing what we're able to do around with a menu that or at the central kitchen that would affect the elementary school. So yeah, I'd be happy to give an update when we come back in the fall and some of the plans that we're working on for the next school year. So that's a great suggestion. Anything else? Is there any question? Is there any public comment from any of the attendees that are not on the committee today? I see there's 3 people that are attending. If you want to raise your hand. Doesn't look like they have any comments either. Oh, Jamie, did you want to say something else? No?
Yeah, real quickly, will the district for next school year be providing meals again for lunch and snack? I know that's come up, at least in my parent group.
Yes, so the universal meals, no cost to student program will continue for next year. So we'll continue to provide breakfast during the break time, morning recess, and lunch at lunchtime at no cost for students. So that will continue for the next school year.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, well, we're a very efficient, speedy group here. So we'll be sending some information out about the dates for the next year, and then also just be asking again for topics. So if you're back talking with your schools or your groups that you're connected to, maybe ask to see what people are interested in, that they would like to get more information about. Part of being on this committee is hearing what we're doing at the district and taking it back to your schools and your different groups that you sit on and kind of filtering that down. So it'd be really amazing for you to pass on those resources that Kimberly and Amy shared in case families are in need, especially as we go into summer and we're a little bit less connected to our school sites. And then, yeah, please ask around what other information is out there, what questions are out there that the committee can provide information around. All right, if there's nothing else, we will close, and I appreciate your time and your commitment to the committee. We look forward to our second year next year, and we will be in touch. Okay, take care, everybody.